Good morning, Unity. Rise and shine with me and sing one of our favorite beautiful songs. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. It's my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. It's my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. And it's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. It's my decision right here and now. One more time. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down. When's the last time you danced down a road? Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. It's my decision right here and now.
You all sound very good. Good morning. My name is Ray Stoffel. It's my pleasure to be your platform assistant this morning. And as we always do, we'll begin our service with a reading of the daily word. Divine expression. In truth, I cannot fail. And what I want to tell you is that truth has a capital T. My divine nature, the truth of who I am, is not simply a presence within me. It is the very essence of every cell in my body, every thought in my mind. A sense of failure in any undertaking is a fear-based thought in my mortal mind. It has no reality in spiritual truth. Whatever the appearance may be, there is always a lesson, a spiritual awareness that will support and encourage me as I make future choices. As long as I remember to claim the good in every choice I make, there can be no failure in my experience. Today, I welcome every opportunity to make a creative choice that perfectly expresses my true spiritual self. And from Romans 8:5, for those who live according to the flesh set their minds on the things of the flesh, but those who live according to the Spirit set their minds on the things of Spirit. So as I read this morning, last night we hosted my in-laws. 9 out of 12 showed up for dinner because everybody's home. And it was not a gorgeous May night. It was a miserable, rainy May night. But 2 of my sister-in-laws don't live where there are seasons. So they only came home at Christmas usually. And so when they came up into the yard, everybody came inside and said, we got to turn the heat on, except these 2 sister-in-laws. Pat myself on the back, I have a beautiful garden. My 2 sister-in-laws that don't have seasons said, oh my God, it is so beautiful here. And they walked the yard and asked me, like, what's this and what's that, blah, blah, blah. It is there for me to see every day. It is there for my in-laws that live here to see every day. What was important for them is to get inside and turn the heat on. For my sister-in-laws that live in California, the opportunity to see spring in Syracuse was an amazing opportunity. It's the difference between little t and big T in truth. What do I allow myself to see? Do I see the miracle and the beauty and even the darkness? Because even in that midst of an awful rainy night, there's this beautiful crabapple tree that is brilliantly red, that is dropping all those gorgeous little petals on the ground. And if I can see that, I will see the big T truth of my experience. Thank you. Now it's time for our children to go downstairs, and we're going to sing them out. And you guys are going to get a lot of love this morning.
We love you, we bless you, we truly, truly appreciate you. We behold the Christ in you.
And now, as you are able, if you would stand with me and recite our statement of being. God is all, both visible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. Now, if you take a moment in your place to greet each other.
One of our fun favorites. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. All is well, all is well. And every day I affirm and pray that I'm blessed with everything I have. And I release my fears, 'cause it's all so clear. I am held, I am loved, I am safe. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. All is well, all is well. And now I see what my life can be when I trust in process. I have faith, and I know when I just let go that I have all I ever need. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. All is well, all is well, all is well, all is well.
Just have a few announcements this morning, and please check your bulletin for other things, because they're coming into summer. It gets busy here. There is a teachers' meeting today at 12:15. There's also going to be a meeting upstairs here right after the service for those of us that attended the training with Pat Bessie in April, just as a follow-up for anyone that's interested in attending that attended that training. And then at 1:30, there will be a facilities team meeting as well. On June 3rd, there is a can drive for YFM, so please start saving your bottles and bring those in on the 3rd. On June 4th, it is the duck race, and that's at the Inner Harbor, and that's put on by the Interfaith Council. Sorry, June 9th, okay, typo, June 9th. So if you can sell tickets, please see Reverend Edith. Okay. On June 16th, we will have our yard sale and bake sale, which is always a lot of fun, and that's from 9 to 3. So there's some papers downstairs that you can sign up to help with that, or see Mina, there's Mina, if you are interested in renting tables, and see Sheila, who is not here, if you're going to help us bake and make some money that way. Okay. The tables are $10 a piece, and you can get them for under the 10th or outside. And then the following week is barbecue, Sally. Did you know that? So next week, you're going to see some sign-up sheets downstairs to sign up for our first of 2 barbecues for this season. And you can see Sally if you have some questions. And please think about how you might want to serve for that day, because it's always a lot of fun and it's great food. So now we'd like to welcome anyone that might be with us for the first, second, or third times. So if this is your second or third visit, if you'd be willing to raise your hand and be recognized. Okay. How about somebody that hasn't been here in a while, Steve? It's good to see you. Oh, good morning. I'm sorry. How about someone that might be here for the very, very first time with us this morning? I didn't think so. I looked around solidly. Well, there's... Ann's got an announcement. Hi, Ann.
Okay, I got, the microphone and me, we still haven't gotten it made yet, but we're working on it. Okay. You sit right over here so you can be seen. Maria is our new member of the board. Okay? And we are so excited to have her. We had a town hall meeting, and in the process of talking at that town hall meeting, Maria spoke up, stood up, and said, I think I could do that. And so look what has happened, because the inner spirit said, I think I can do it. So I am here to give her this wonderful, wonderful Unity Board of Directors little symbol of our welcoming her. You know, I want to call her my karate kid on the board, okay? She has a lot of other experiences. And she taught for 30 years in Yonkers. Well, guess what? I lived in that area for 10 years. So we have a lot of catching up to do. But anyway, it is just a joy to have her. So please welcome her.
Thank you. I only want to say that really what motivated me is just that, well, first of all, Sally, because Sally she's like the hands on my back that keep going like this. Gently she does it. But she does do that. But I really just, you've given me so much that I just want to give back. I just want to serve and give back a little bit of what you've given me, because you've given me so much. So thank you, and I hope I do a good job and serve you well.
I'm hearing voices. Yes, ma'am. Do you have a date for that, Joanne?
I have not received confirmation.
Okay.
But if it was like last time, it would be like last minute I'm coming.
Sounds like Unity to me. Thank you. Maria was telling me that she bought herself a little notebook because now she's on the board. I carry about a 20-pound knapsack, so buy a bigger notebook, honey. And now on the screen, we're going to put up our 5 basic principles. It's in the center of who we are. And we ask every week for a couple people to share of how these might have shown up in your life this week. So if you'd be willing to share, please raise your hand and we'll bring you, Carol, we'll give you a microphone.
I found myself where I was not practicing. My I am was not doing what it should be, because I was doubting. I was saying, oh, no, this can't happen this way. No. And there was somebody saying, let God let go. Let God let go. It'll be fine. Let God let go. And I just kept it right up. What happened? Let God let go. God was there. And what I thought, and all these thoughts that ran through my mind were not happening. And it was great. Everything turned out great. But I didn't do it once. I did it twice. I turned around and did the same thing again. I kind of walked away from who I am. And twice was enough for me. And it's like, girl, you got to start practicing. Do your practice. I am. I am.
Thank you. Lucy, to Peter, please.
I never envisioned myself standing up here doing this, but I had an amazing experience on Wednesday, May 9th. I had surgery, but that's not what was so amazing. What was amazing was folks at Unity really taking over Krause Hospital. Sibby was there to give hugs and reassurance. Sally managed to handpick the surgery team. Reverend Edith came to my room before they wheeled me off, and we prayed. And I've never really experienced anything like that in my life. And here I am, ready to run the Boston Marathon. No. But what's so powerful for me, along with the person I love most in the world, is we found a home, a spiritual home. So
we look forward to welcoming you along with the other new members to our an actual ceremony. Is that next week? Yeah. So thank you for being here. Now's the time for the prayer portion and the blessing of our prayer intentions. Will the prayer chaplains who are serving today please stand? Patsy in the back and Kosova. Every Sunday we have a silent time of meditation from 10:30 to 10:45. And then from 10:45 to 10:55, there are prayer chaplains upstairs and downstairs to pray with you, and they're also available after service. If you've never done that for yourself, it's quite a beautiful experience. At this time, we'll bring forth the prayer box and our intentions. Unity was founded on prayer. Its silent unity prayer has been continuous for over 125 years. If you have not yet placed your prayer intention in the box, you can do so at the end of the service. We can just hold that intention in your heart and mind with us. Prayer intentions are held in prayer in confidence here for 30 days, so we don't look at them. Then we mail them forward to Silent Unity, and they hold them for an additional 30 days. And so now if you'd join us, Patsy's going to pray for us.
Infinite Spirit of light and life, we affirm that every single prayer in this prayer box, that every single prayer in the heart of everyone here and everywhere in the world is answered the moment it is thought. And yet we still pray over these prayers, affirming their truth with a capital T, affirming that for the people who pray, love is our decision, life is our decision, light and grace are our decisions. And we wish for every prayer and every prayer this love, this life, this light, and this grace. We affirm it to be so, and so it is. Thank you, God. Amen.
And now is our meditative part of this service. Now, some of you may have already joined me in closing your eyes. If you have not done so, I invite you to do that right now. And for those who are not comfortable closing your eyes, I simply ask that you focus on one spot in a room. Perhaps it's the spot right in front of your lap. Perhaps it's this representation of the Christ in our Christ candle. But focusing on one spot in the room, for we affirm that there is no spot where God is not. And I also invite you in this moment to simply relax, relaxing more fully and completely in the seat where you're sitting. Relaxing as if you're becoming one with the seat that you're sitting in. Letting God, letting go. Letting God and letting go. Did you know that there is this place within you that is that most holy, sacred space for each of us is created in the image and likeness of God. There is the spark of divinity. It may be a big light. It may seem to be a little dimmer of a light, but yet it is there. The light is there as you. So if you can consider just for a moment that there is this light that is just above your head, flickering away, shining brightly like the sun. And that even when the sun isn't there, the light is always there. The light is there right now, just above your head. And that its rays are showering down through the crown of your head to your face, warming up your face, traveling down to your heart, allowing love to sit there in your heart space. And if you could just imagine for a moment that that light in your heart is also the love in your heart. That we choose love in this moment. Love that is attached to light as it travels all the way down to the tippy toes of your toes and the tips of your fingertips. Traveling down and through your body all at the same time, warming up every spot, every nook, every cranny. We allow that love to not just simply sit there in our body locked inside, but to radiate out, affirming that all is possible. All is possible. And we take a moment to allow ourselves to resonate with this love and light as we sit and consciously connect with the source of our beingness, God the good omniscience. We sit and we affirm together. I affirm in all things possible. I affirm in all things possible. In the silence, we go deeper together as one. In the silence, we affirm the truth with the big T. In the silence, we are part of I am. I am. I am. Affirming. I am affirming in all things. I am affirming in all things being possible. And in this expanded state of awareness, we bring into our hearts and minds all of the prayer intentions which have been placed in our prayer box. And we bring also into our hearts and minds anyone who we may want to hold in this sacred space. For we are holding a high vibration of love. We are holding that high vibration of light. So we bring those names, whatever the names are, from two-legged people or four-legged people, the environment, the earth, the country, the world, and especially ourselves. But we know that really there's only love. There is only love. We simply allow ourselves to be immersed in it, to feel it, to experience it, at least for this time that we're here together. And we're so grateful Grateful for all that we get to say and be and do and experience. Love. And so it is. And so we simply allow it as us. Amen.
Life is not about heartbreak or hunger or need. It's not about sacrifice that leaves us to bleed. There's something more important than we're born to know. 'Cause whatever you do and whatever you go, it's all about love. It's all about love. Just open your heart, love fills it up. It's all about love. Love, love is a miracle of a newborn child. Love is that something that makes your heart go wild. But however you feel it, it's all the same thing. It's the feeling within you that makes you want to sing. It's all about love. It's all about love. Just open your heart. Love fills you up. It's all about love. So when the world is overflowing with pain, and you don't remember a single day without rain, so hold on, help is on the way, bringing a perfect world, a bright, bright new day. It's all about love. It's all about love. Just open your heart. Love fills you up. It's all about love. Sing that with me. It's all about love. It's all about love. Just open your heart. Love fills you up. It's all about love. One more time. It's all about love. It's all about love. Let love open your heart. Love fills you up. It's all about love. It's all about love. It's all about love.
Good morning. I don't know if I heard y'all. Good morning. That is so much better. Hey, I'm Reverend Edith Washington Woods, and I'm going to take this off for now. I'll put it on later. I'm the senior minister here. Yay. Glad to be here. Glad you guys are here today. What a wonderful day, because it's all about love. It's absolutely all about love. Now, I have a question for you, and this is not for you to answer, but just to consider. Have you ever had a time where you felt like you were locked inside your body? You know, where you didn't want to feel something or you didn't want to experience something? You know, perhaps sometimes that would be being even locked inside your own house. You know, you go in, you lock the door, you make sure all the windows are locked so nobody can come in and get you. Have you ever had that? Well, I want to tell you a story about this lady. Her name is Victoria. Not this Victoria, a different one. I know, you're just making it up in your mind. Is she talking about Vicky? No, I'm not talking about our Vicky. It's a different Vicky. She was 11 years old. Vibrant young girl, having a great life, not having anything to care about but being a little 11-year-old child. And she got sick one day. She had a pain in her right side, like right here. Okay, I'm trying not to move. And in her, so she had this severe pain. It got really bad. And it took them 7 years to give her a diagnosis. This diagnosis was 2 autoimmune disorders that affected her, caused her brain to swell and her spinal cord to swell. One of the names was transverse myelitis, and the other one I can't pronounce, so I won't. But here she was, 11 years old, in a vegetative state. She couldn't move. And the way she describes it, she said in August of 2006, the lights went out, just like you turn the lights off in your home. And her whole memory went, everything went. She couldn't remember anything. And close to 3 years later, in January of 2009, she woke up. She was now aware. But what she was also aware of is that she was locked inside her body. She couldn't move. She couldn't talk. She was talking inside of her mind, but nobody could hear her. Can you imagine that? So we were talking about being locked in our own body, our emotions and whatnot, or being locked in our own home. But imagine being locked in your own body like you really are locked in and you cannot say anything, communicate with anyone, and yet your mind is thinking like it normally thinks, but it's not acting like it normally acts. And she heard the doctors talking to her parents, and they were telling them, she may not make it. And if she makes it, she'll be a vegetable. Can you imagine hearing that? When your mind is thinking and you're trying to tell them, hey, I'm here. Can't you hear me? And all she could do was just lay there, nothing else. Well, some time went by, and she noticed one day that she could blink her eyes. And her mother came to visit her, and she knew that something had shifted. We would say the energy shifted. We would say that there was some vibration that was vibrating higher as her. And her mother noticed, and she said, would you just blink your eye? And she just started blinking like crazy. She's like, I was crazily blinking my eye, because really that's all she had, was to blink. So she started fighting her way back to being completely with her body. And her body was coming back. Yes, it was doing that. But her legs were not coming back. She was now in a wheelchair, this young lady. And she was told that she would probably never walk again. So they took her home to where they lived, and they had a swimming pool, because she had been an avid swimmer before this situation happened when she was 11. And she had triplet brothers. Triplet, like 3 of them. And the 3 of them took her and put her in the pool. And they would just kind of have her going, their arms would go and whatnot. And she started swimming again. She started believing in what was possible, you see. Even though the doctors had told her, it's not going to happen. You're going to be a vegetable. And you know what happened? She swam until she was able to swim in the Paralympics. She went to London. And not only did she swim, she won 4 medals, 3 of which were silver medals. And on the last day of night of competition, she won the gold in the 100-meter freestyle. She won the gold. This young lady who was trapped inside of her body. We were talking about how we often will tell ourselves things, right? That we can't do a thing. Can't do it, not possible. And it really was not possible for her. And yet, she went to another country and won all of these 1 gold medal and 3 silver. But it didn't stop there. People started hearing about her story. She started telling people what had happened to her. She started traveling, and she was offered, at the age 21, she was offered to be a reporter on ESPN, and became the youngest one, by the way. Yeah, it didn't stop there, though. She heard about this paralysis recovery center called Project Walk. And in 2013, she went there, and they said, well, we don't know what can happen, but you know what? We're going to try. So you know when you have that word try, you either do it or you don't kind of thing, right? But if you just try a little bit, you never know. And her try a little bit was 4 or 5 hours of therapy per day. And she tried, and she tried, and she tried, and then she took one step. And by April of 2016, she was walking again, but she couldn't feel anything in her legs, nothing. Can you imagine walking around, and you could do it, but you can't feel it? That's her, Victoria. And it didn't stop there. She was offered to come on Dancing with the Stars. Can you imagine? I know, isn't this crazy? And she went on Dancing with the Stars, and she had the guy who was the professional dancer was a guy named Val, and I can't say his last name, it's too hard to pronounce. He told her, this is how I'm going to teach you, and they decided this together, that he would either tap her somewhere on her shoulder or whatever, or say key words for her to repeat, and she would repeat these key words and listen to him tapping so much that she could repeat it in her sleep. That was how she learned the routine in order for her to move, because there was no feeling down there. And she went all the way to the semifinals. I just can't believe the way this lady showed up. But it's kind of like us, that we could be in a cage just like a bird. A cage just like a bird. And I would say that many of us have had bird cages, right, like the real ones. And you had the bird in a cage, and here's the bird in the cage, and it's chirping, and it's all happy and everything. But what if it's not? How can it tell you? Just like Victoria locked inside her body. How can the bird say, hey, I don't want to be in here, let me go. I want to be free. It's just like us. I think we all want to be free too, right? Free from the things that burden us. Free from those things that keep us closed up, not wanting to allow love in, not wanting to allow light in. But we have our examples like Victoria today, right? Well, Dr. Maya Angelou, she wrote this book called I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. And in that book, she says this: but a caged bird stands on the grave of dreams. His shadow shouts on a nightmare scream. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied. So he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still. And his tune is heard on a distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. The caged bird sings of freedom. You see, this is what was happening with Victoria, that she was locked inside of her body. Her body had become the cage. And she was singing, and no one could hear her. She was singing, but no one could hear her. And she got this notion that maybe something was possible, and she got this notion that maybe she should fight, and maybe she shouldn't listen to the diagnosis. You know, we make our own diagnosis, right? Like, nobody has to actually give us a diagnosis. We make up enough stuff all by ourselves. You know, oh, you're not good enough. You're not tall enough. You're not sexy enough. I know I said it. I know some of you thinking that. I ain't sexy enough to get a partner, a husband, a wife, a friend. Are we making our own cage? Are we just like that? Are we making our own cage with the thoughts that we think? But we have the power. You know, our spiritual power of the month is power. And the color is what? Purple. And the disciple is Philip. And power is right here, like underneath the root of the tongue. We have the power to speak a word. We have the power to walk on our own 2 feet and think with our own mind. And sometimes we think ourselves into being locked in a cage. We think ourselves into believing that things are true the way they show up. You know the things. The government. Do I need to say more? You think, oh, what's happening with that? No, we don't have to be locked in a cage. All we have to do is stand up, take our own power back, and know that anything is possible. Because the truth with the big T is that we're part of everything. That is nothing that separates us. That we're one with all. I went to we went to across the street to see him rise, several of us, on Thursday for their iftar. It is the breaking of the fast, when the fast is complete. And what did I do? They put up a picture, and there was Ray. And I went, oh, there's Ray. Cooking over there at our cookout last year. Remember that? And they honor and love us so much that they put our people up on their screen because they understand. They understand that love is all about giving it away. And then I saw Tim, he's the president over there at the CNY Rise, with his wife serving last night at the community choirs dinner. And I knew she had not eaten any of that food. And they said she made a big pot. She had some, it was lentils, and she cooked and cooked and cooked. And she couldn't taste it. She couldn't eat it because they are in the time of Ramadan. But in a loving, generous way, she didn't keep herself inside of her cage, call her home, waiting for dusk to happen so that it's almost time to eat again. But instead, they're willing to give and willing to give. And so the message for us today is, how do we give? How do we get out of ourselves like Victoria? How do we become like the bird that is free? You know, we're all free. We all have the capability to do that. And in the book that we're reading, The Endless Practice, here's the book right here. It looks like this. We have more. We still have more downstairs in the bookstore. The Endless Practice by Mark Nepo, he says that when fearful of the end, when fearful of my end, the press of time is everywhere, and the life I'm living feels more like a cage in which I don't have room to do or say all the things I want to do or say. Because we don't have enough time. There are people who don't have enough time to come and be with us today because they have other things to do. I often wonder when I look out there, where's this person? Where's that person? I always wonder, where? Now, I know that you might be out there in love streaming land listening to, watching us, and I say, hi, good morning, how are you? But don't you wonder sometimes where a person is if you don't see them? Sometimes we also worry about them. because we made up maybe something's wrong because we didn't see them, yes? Or we made up, oh, they must have a diagnosis. Well, we just diagnosed it. And we do that all the time. We make up stuff. I just love it. Like, what did you make up now? But I think about what is like when we are living like we live in a cage and what that feels like. And sometimes that living in that cage is gathering things. You know, some people call it clutter. Sometimes we're holding on to those things because we don't know when we'll need it next. I think I'm talking about myself. That's why you're laughing, right? Yeah, no. I'm talking about all of us. Those things we hold on to. Now, how do we release it and let it go? How do we allow ourselves to say, you know what? This has served me enough. I'm going to let it go. No, instead, we keep it in the cage with us. Now, how do we let it go? How do we let it go? The cage looks something like this. Let me out. Please let me out. But we don't know how to say anything. We don't know how to tell somebody, I just want you to love me. You know, that's a bad word, right? If you say, I want you to love me, then it means like you're being selfish. No, it's not. Everybody needs love, like everybody. I think that's what the world is screaming for. That's why things that are appearing is like the opposite of that. Because the opposite of that is really a screaming, love me, love me, love me, love me now. And instead, it comes up as terrorists. And then we start making other people terrorists because we think they all must be terrorists and they all must be against us. Well, what are we going to do? To start loving. Because when we turn it to love, then we realize it's really love and nobody's a terrorist. It's just appearing to be that. Appearing to be that. And it keeps happening over and over and over again. Over and over and over again. And what do? I look at it and I go, what can I do? I can send love there. I can say, where's the love in this? And stop being in my cage. I think that's what we're called to do. And Victoria, she says this. This is what she learned. She says, I learned early on that extraordinary challenges lead to extraordinary victories. She has had some victories in her life. We're called to experience victories in our life. That any of those things that seem like challenges, the people, the places, the traffic, the weather, you know, we could just kind of fill in the blank, right? That they lead to extraordinary victories all the time. But we have to be willing to have them. And if we're not willing, then they won't. We'll just stay locked in our own cage. Do we want to be in a cage? Do you really want to be in a cage? I would think not. Yeah. Come on, Lucy. She's taking a picture. People like to take pictures of the slides. I get it. And so Mark Nepo, he goes on to say this, and I added the word I am. He says, I am in the process of putting down what is not essential. I can slip through the bars of my own idea of life and join the actual pulse of life. So the not essential, that's the clutter. I know. It's not easy. I want to be like those people who can throw away everything. You know, they throw away stuff, and then when they can't find it, they just go, oh, well, whatever. I think Ray's like that. Because when I go to his house, he doesn't have clutter at all. Except for probably in the secret place that you don't show us, right? Yeah.
Yeah, right? Like people come over and they come over and you clean the whole house, at least the parts that they'll go in. Mm-hmm. And then it's those spaces that we keep our clutter. But when we are willing to let go what is essential, that's when we slip through the cracks, slip through those bars, and we're able to allow ourselves to be with all of life as life is. Because life is waiting for us. Life is waiting for us to show up and to simply be in the presence. You know, Don Miguel Ruiz said that the real you is loving, joyful, and free. The real you is like a flower, just like the wind, just like the ocean, just like the sun. You see, we are light. We are love. We're part of it. We're created in that image of light and love. It is simply part of who we are. And when we do that, we're able to glow. Have you ever seen someone with that glow and you go, wow, they have that warm glow, welcoming way of being. You've met those kind of folks, right? Yeah, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you, glowing. And Mark Nepo, he says this, that when we are able to know that we're the light, then we remember that like the sun, we're asked over a lifetime to glow in all directions. Like all of us, like rays of the sun, that it glows, it radiates, it vibrates. Because it's vibrating at this high vibrational level that it can't help itself when we open the cage and we become free. When you going to become free, folks? Our Bible verse for today comes from Mark chapter 10, verse 27. Listen to these words. Jesus looked at them and said, "For men it is impossible, but not for God. For God all things are possible." All things are possible. So when we look back at Victoria and the fact that she was locked in her body and she couldn't move and she was talking in her mind and people couldn't hear her, that's when she realized that nothing was moving. She didn't even know it. She thought in her mind that she was talking. And there they were all talking outside of her and everything. And she was having this conversation, thinking she was having a conversation with her family and the doctors. And nothing was coming out. To looking at her today, having been on Dancing with the Stars, working at ESPN, swimming and getting 4 Olympic medals. Who would do that? That shows us that anything and all things are possible. That when we learn how to open up the cage and go out of the cage and fly, and really fly, then we are able to glow in all directions. We're able to glow in all directions. When are we going to start glowing, people? I'm seeing you out there glowing, but do you know it? Sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we are not aware of the light that is flowing as us. And sometimes we try to squash it. We make the light smaller by gathering more things, more thoughts, talking about people. You know those people who like to judge people and say, this person did that, this person did that. I don't like that person. Oh, they're so ugly. Well, maybe not ugly. But when we're doing that, we're locking ourselves more into our own cage by doing that. And we're called to stop it. We're called to allow the light to shine brightly as us. We're called to simply be the example like Victoria. Are you willing to be the example and take that light that's shining brightly as you out into your world, into your family, into your affairs, and let people know who you are?
Because the daily word today said that we are the truth of who I am, divine nature. In truth, I cannot fail. You can't fail. You don't have to hide underneath the bushel basket. Don't have to. Let your light shine, people. There are people waiting for you, only you. Period. And if you don't shine, somebody else won't be able to shine. We can take the example of our Muslim friends and give something, even if it's a warm smile. Yeah? So our affirmation for today can assist us with where we're going with this week, and this is what it says. I am willing to open the door for all possibilities now and in the future. Will you say that with me, please? I am willing to open the door for all possibilities now and in the future. Let's say that again, please. I am willing to open the door for all possibilities now and in the future. Now take a moment to just notice these words and take them into your heart. Bringing your energy in just for a moment. Affirming that we're all vibrating at a high vibrational level, that vibration is light, that vibration is love, like unconditional love, no judgment, just love. And know that it's all about love. The truth is, the big T, is that we're all connected with that love. You feel it in your heart. You might even want to breathe into it, breathing in and breathing out. So we breathe in love and we breathe out love. And open up your eyes and saying this affirmation again and letting our life and the world know, because they depend on us to be the example. And we say this again. Affirm this with me, please. I am willing to open the door for all possibilities now and in the future. And so it is. And so we allow it to be us. Amen. And namaste. And now it's time for our tithes, love offerings, and gifts. Which is another way to show and demonstrate our love, that high vibration that we already are operating in. And we take our money substance, blessing it in all that it does already, how we've been blessed by it, and how we will continue to bless others, because we know that what we give comes right back to us. And if we don't give, we can't have it come back to us. That's just how the law is. So we have our love offering affirmation that we have on the screen here. Will you affirm this with me, please? Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. You are my source.
Shine the light you bear. Shine the light you bear. Just as Master Jesus taught us, shine the light you bear. Together. Shine the light you bear. Shine the light you bear. Just as Master Jesus taught us, shine the light you bear. Shine the light you bear. Shine the light you bear. just as Master Jesus taught us. Shine the light you bear.
Okay, I know you want to know, what does Gandhi have to say today? It's perfect. Be the change in which you wish to see in the world. That's it, right? Like, be the change, be love, be light, just be it. All right. And now we pray, put it in, not take it out. Thank you. It's good like that, right? It is. Yeah. I hear you, those people. I know whoever you are, rubbing your hands together. Yes. For those of you who don't know, out in Love Streaming Land or here, we rub our hands together because we know that there's this light and love that is radiating out through us, in us, and we are causing that it radiates out through our hands, that this vibration of love and light is moving to bless this money substance and bless those who give. The giver may have given today. They may have given online, as people do. They may have given a monthly gift. They may have given in whatever form that they do, down in the bookstore, and we bless it all. For in our blessing, we know that it comes back to the giver tenfold, and we give as one. So we pray. Spirit, God the good. We're so grateful. Grateful for all that we get to give, that we have this opportunity to give and know that it comes back to us. To supply and know that in that supplying, we are receiving our good. That we give our good and we receive our good. That there's no separation in the two. We're so grateful to the giver, knowing that you understand the law. All of us do. And the gift of what we have and knowing that we will have more, that we trust in the process. Thank you, God, for this opportunity for us to give to our spiritual source. In this moment we pray, and so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Thank you. Okay, it's time. Here they come. We're walking in the light of God. We are 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 walking. We are walking. We are walking in the light of God. We are walking. We are walking. We are walking in the light of God. Woohoo! Hey, how you doing?
Good afternoon,
people.
everybody.
Good afternoon.
So, quick announcements. There's a teachers' meeting right after service today, if we could meet at the manse. And a bottle and can drive June 3rd. If you could please rinse your bottles before you bag them. And someone will be there about 10:30 to receive by the garage. And what did we do today? We talked about the power of words, right? And how it's important to think before we speak. And how it's important that we listen. You guys stand straight? Awesome. And so we got some things we want to tell you.
We love everybody. And also have a great week!
And what? We did not understand that.
And everybody have a great week.
Oh. Yeah. We're live, being broadcast around the world. So say hey. Hey, love streamers. Okay. Thank you. And we have our children's blessing and affirmation. And we're blessing not only the children here, but all of them that are in our hearts, our own families around wherever they're at in the world, and those who are here for their week. Let's say our blessing and affirmation together, please. We bless our children wherever they are, and we see them surrounded by love and light throughout the week. We have a thriving, expanded youth and family ministry. Yes, we do. And our prayer for protection, The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Richest blessings, my friends, and the peace song. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us talk with each other in perfect harmony. La la la. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my song now. To take each moment and live each moment, peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Have a great week, everybody.